Not everybody who is a real estate agent understands real estate. Y'all know that, right? And far fewer understand how investors think and how investors work. And you will put yourself at a severe disadvantage, and you will put your team at a severe disadvantage if you attempt to use anybody other than a diamond member at Real Investors. Let me explain one thing to you, which if you understand this, you have won 99.9% of the battle when it comes to making money in real estate. You ready? In the world of single-family real estate, which is where we generally recommend that people get started, right? Anybody here want to do some commercial real estate? Cool. I mean, you're in the right place. You don't have to go anywhere, right? But you ever play the game of Monopoly? And what do you have to do before you go get that first red hotel? 4 greenhouses. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go do 4 houses, but you probably need to do at least 2 or 3 house deals even before you think about commercial, unless, of course, your father is Donald Trump. Anybody in here, their dad's Donald Trump? Okay. Then you're cool. You can go off and do, go change the Chicago, New York, Dubai skyline, right? But for the rest of us, generally recommend you start in the world of single-family houses. Okay? Everybody with me on that? Okay. So in the world of single-family houses, on any given day, in any city, USA, you have houses that are being bought and sold. It's called a market. Y'all with me? You probably know this, but some of you may be hearing this for the first time. That market is like a pie chart. And the biggest hunk of the pie, 80%, is controlled by one group of people. Real estate agents, otherwise known as realtors. Now, technically, a realtor is somebody who's a member of the National Association of Realtors. However, the deck is stacked. And they've been getting away with this for years, and they will continue to get away with this for years. Unions are enviable when they see what the National Association of Realtors does. And that's not a swipe, this is just a statement of fact. So I am a real estate broker. I have a real estate broker's license. I am the principal real estate broker for our firm. We have 42 agents and growing. Okay? As a real estate broker, if I want to get access to the database that contains all the information about what's being bought and sold, I have to become a member of a local board of realtors. Because it is the local board of realtors that owns the database. In our market, that database is called the Matrix, or the MRIS. It was originally called MRIS, and then when they made it a web-based version, they called it the Matrix. I think the movie was out about the same time. In other markets, they call it the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service. How many people here ever heard of the MLS? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the whole ball game. That's the whole ball game. Getting access to the data to see what prices are, see what concessions happen, see what's coming on the market soon before even a for sale sign goes up. Many people think that the real estate game is played out in the street, driving neighborhoods, looking at houses. That's only a part of it. You cannot drive up and down a street, any street in America, and know all the houses that are for sale. You guys understand that, right? Not everybody who sells a house puts a for sale sign out. You cannot drive up and down the street, even if you see the for sale signs, you have no clue what that house actually sold for unless you do what? Somehow get a hold of the owner, ask the owner what he sold it for, and expect them to tell the truth. Yeah, I don't remember, but I think I sold my house for $250,000. I got more money than anybody else. And then you go into the MLS and you realize, no, he sold the house for $235,000, and he gave a 6% seller commission, a 6% seller subsidy, right, or a 10% seller subsidy. So at the end of the day, he really sold the house for like $215,000. By the way, does anybody think in this business or any business having accurate data is important? Okay. The only place you can go for accurate data in the single-family house business is, in fact, the data that the realtors control through the MLS. They have a stranglehold on the buying and selling of houses. Now, before one of you says something and totally embarrasses yourself and has a whole room laughing at you, please do not shout out, but what about Zillow? So Zillow, which is a public company, which was put together specifically for the purpose of advertising and capturing people's information so they could then turn around and sell it to who? Realtors. What? Zillow's business model is this. They put out something that kind of sort of looks like an MLS. And they say, hey, if you want to know what your house is worth, come to Zillow.com and get a Zestimate. Now, what kind of people want to know what their house is worth? Clearly, some percentage are just sort of looky-loos. Hey, I'm just sort of curious what my house is worth. But for the most part, people who are interested in what their house is worth are people who are thinking about what? Selling their house. So in order for you to get your Zestimate, you have to put in certain personal information like your name, your address. You got to put in your address, right? How can I tell you what your Zestimate is unless you give me your address? Your contact information, right? And then once you give me all that, I give you your Zestimate. But what do I do with that information? I sell it to real estate agents to say, hey, here's somebody who's thinking about selling their house. Here's a lead. You say, well, okay, I'm sort of okay with that, but I'm getting an appraisal on my house for free. No, you're not. Where is Zillow getting their data from? Hint, hint, it's not coming from the MLS in many cases. In many cases, it's coming from the public records. Well, the public records can tell you what that house sold for, assuming the clerk at the county courthouse actually put it in. Anybody here been to the Prince George's County Courthouse? You seen the stacks of files on the floor? Those are the files they have not put into the system yet. But that's okay. In 8 months, it'll be there. Can you wait for 8 months to get accurate information? Not if you're an investor.